Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Hope you are doing well, and welcome to another video on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be going through one player in particular because there's been a lot said about him both on social media, in the news, everything else, and it will be our captain here, Joe Worrall. We're going to have a look through his game. We're going to talk about what happened yesterday, but what we are going to do is do this respectfully and analytically. Now, a lot of people won't let you criticize him or won't let you defend him. It just seems to be completely divisive one way or the other. So if you don't like this kind of analysis, don't watch, is what I'm going to say. Understand that it's done with no sentimentality. It's literally looking at how he played, where he did well, where he needs to improve on. And then the debate does need to be had. Does he need to be dropped, or should we continue with him? This is nothing personal against him. Love the guy. I haven't even made my own opinion up. I'll make it up as I go towards the end of this video. But I would also like your opinions on this. But it's important that you're presented with some evidence so you can decide either way. So don't take this the wrong way. We're all Forest fans. We don't need to be divisive. But we do need to have a look at players' performances and decide from there which way things should go. If you guys don't mind, having said all that, if you won't mind giving the video just a quick little like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, it really would be much appreciated. If you do want a t-shirt like this, the old Brennan Johnson one, the link to the merch store is in the description below. And of course, if you want all the Forest emotes, just hit the join button and choose the silver membership, which is now 99p. It will give you all the emotes, and of course you help to support the channel. So let's get into it. Not a video I really want to make, but I think a video that I need to make. Alright guys, so let's get into this and have a look at the game in particular. Like I said, we're going to focus on Joe Worrall. Now, this was the Everton goal, and I just want to have a quick discussion about it because as you can see currently, if we have a look at the defenders, you've got Nico Williams who's just off the screen there. You've got Joe Worrall here, and you've got Cook there as well, and then obviously Pickford just here kicking the ball forward. Now, a couple of things I want to point out, and I'll show more evidence of this later on. You can see Cook is looking here. He's already trying to figure out where the danger is. Realizes that the main danger is going to be here. Now, this guy here, Gordon, isn't part of the play. He's not even looking towards the ball. So Cook, you can see, is looking straight across there, and he's very, very aware of his surroundings. Nico Williams, you can see him seeing the run here, and he will start to come in this way as well. Now, in essence, why the defense was playing a line this high up the pitch with 2 minutes to go while the ball's in the keeper's hands is another question we could discuss. But I want to focus on here is Worrall. Worrall is looking over here completely at Gordon. He has no idea that Gray is behind him here at all. So awareness, like I said, Cook looking across the line can see where the ball is. Worrall is reacting at the moment to just the ball being played, almost ball watching it a bit and just catching Gordon in his eye line, which in itself is slightly worrying. So if we take this across to the side view, just so I can show you in a bit more detail what then happened. So the ball then came over the top. So you saw a bit of a shape like, let's just bring it up here. So the shape of the ball came like this. Now straight away, you can see that Joe Worrall is behind the pace here. Nico Williams is trying to get as quick as he can in behind, and you got Cook running back as well. Already, Worrall has given up a yard on Gray. Now, you can't not put Nico Williams slightly at fault, because when you did look at the line here, Nico Williams was the one who was playing him on side. If I could move the frames back a couple for you, but I can't. Nico Williams was slightly playing on side, so was Worrall as well. So you could give some of the blame towards Worrall. However, it was the lack of understanding of the player being in behind Worrall that was the most frustrating part. Because while he didn't know that in the previous shot, let's just bring it back up here, he had no understanding of the fact that Gray was here because his body shape is all wrong. And that's worrying. But then what happens is, if we just bring that forward again now, if you have a look at the next scene, you would expect as the captain, as bleeding Forest Red and all that, the effort to be made to at least attempt to get back. You can see he's here, Worrall's here, if I just highlight him for you guys. You can see that already Cook is ahead of him. Nico Williams is miles ahead of him. And you can even see Tuffalo is busting a gut there. If you look at the shape of Joe Worrall here, standing quite upright, so you can tell he's not in a kind of crouched charging position like Nico Williams is or like Steve Cook is. Both of them know they're probably not going to get the ball, but what are they doing? They're understanding that if Hendo makes a save here and bails us out, then the ricochet might come back out that way, or it could come back out that way. That's why they're charging back. Worrall here just isn't making that sustained effort to get himself back to at least win the second ball if it was to happen. In his mind, I think he's looking at it thinking, I don't have the pace to get back, not much I can do, and mentally he switches off in that scenario. And again, this next image just highlights the fact that you've got the guys really in the shape, in a running shape here, running shape here, running shape here. I mean, even McKenna's trying to bust the gut to get back. But you can see Worrall is very upright in his position, again indicating, and it was when you watch it in the video, it was a very kind of pedestrian pace coming back. So very frustrating on that front. And then, is that still there? And then what happens here? This to me tells you everything you need to know. Let's just highlight Cook here. Look where his arm's pointing. And it's always important to check the defender's initial reaction. And you can see Cook is frustrated by it, by Worrall, by the lack of running, and by the fact that he wasn't aware of where Gray was when that happened. You can see as well Hendo's having a look up at Worrall. Now, I think there's no one who's going to argue that Worrall wasn't at fault. For me, it's the reaction and the way that he didn't want to kind of get back and amend for his mistake. And I got another example of that coming up now when we look at the actual header. Now, this one annoyed me more than the actual goal because it was 1-0 at this time. Everton were putting a little pressure on. Now, you can't quite see it, but the ball is here and he is headering it. You can see he's under no pressure. It's not like Gordon is right up against him, pressuring him into a bad header. He's actually, as a defender, you would find that position quite comfortable. It's not a massive looping ball coming through. It's just a comfortable header to go back to the keeper. And look where the header ends up. I've moved this on a couple of frames. And you can see here that the header has gone all of a meter and Gordon has got in behind him and he's now through on goal. And thankfully, obviously, Henderson bails us out. But this for me is the key telling picture of what happens next. This is the reaction. You can see again, if we have a look, you got Cook and McKenna, I think that is, coming back, busting a gut. You got Worrall here, doubled over in disappointment that he's missed the header. Now, the annoying thing about this is the ball actually then does break into this area here. And Henderson is more on his toes. And he comes out and he just punts the ball upfield, an old have it moment kind of thing. But Worrall's that's not the body shape or anything you want to see. Now, you know people will make mistakes. Every footballer makes mistakes. It's fine for that to happen. It's the way you react to it that's the infuriating part for me. So, and again, look at the commitment from the other two guys. You know, as I mentioned, running back. Cook, we know he's got no pace. He's probably the slowest defender we have. But you can't fault what he's trying to do in terms of getting back. So that explains the two key incidents in the game and what happened there and why I think Worrall was at fault. Now, I want to show you his... he does a lot of ball watching during the game. So the next clip I've got for you is probably worse than these two. So let's bring that up. If you have a look at here, I'm not quite sure who he's up against. This is Worrall. It may be Rondon. I can't really tell from... I can't remember who it was. Or it may be Gray. You guys will tell me in the comments down below. Now, if you look here, Worrall is feeling the attacker out, which is the right thing to do. And he's got his eyes firmly set on the ball here, which is fine. So here you would look at it and think, this is a great understanding of the position of the player. great eyesight on where the ball is, understanding where the danger. You look at it from the initial outset and you think, very good. Okay, so if we now move it to the next scene so you can see what happened. Now remember here, he's got that nice connection, that feel with the attacker there. Move it along to the next scene, and this is where the cardinal sin happens. There's a disconnect now between him and the player, and he's still ball watching. At no stage during this sequence does he have a quick look around behind him to see with his head. He doesn't need to turn around or anything. He just needs to have a look round. Once you lose that feel for where the guy is, then you're in trouble. And you can see if we just move this sequence along now, you have a look at this picture here. Look at the gap between the two of them now. It's huge. Worrall still fully focused on where the ball is. So at that stage now, and if we move it to this scene here, you can see that Forest did get lucky. If we look at the two players now, Worrall still, he's actually, if I just move that line, he's actually crouching down to get a look in behind the Forest player there so that he's got eyes on the ball. He's that focused on where the ball is. Look at his body shape there. It's completely focused and no clue at all where this player is currently. Now, what does that mean? I mean, Gordon was pretty stupid to shoot here with a wall of 3 players there. He may have tried to drill a ball into here. Worrall would not have been able to react in time because he had no idea where the attacker was. And for me, this is more worrying than the mistakes in terms of the goal, in terms of the header. The header one, you can say bad header, it could happen to anyone. But this level of ball watching is very, very concerning. Especially when you're, look at him here, 7 yards out from the edge of the box. From the goal, sorry. And it just worries you as well, the disconnect. He lost the player a couple of moments ago. This was the last time he was in contact with the striker. And then slowly but surely, the gap gets bigger, bigger. And then to the stage there that if we circle them or square them, the gap is absolutely huge. And he hasn't taken his eyes off the ball once. So I do think there's a few questions that do need to be asked about Worrall. Now, do I want to get into the debate of should we drop him or not? I mean, my opinion on it is a case of we're in the Premier League. You cannot be sentimental about players. Everyone's saying that he's Forest through and through. He bleeds red, Forest as a kid, etc. Well, I would argue that I'm Forest through and through. I would bleed red. But I'm not going to put myself forward to play at centre-back for Forest because I ain't good enough. Now, I'm not saying he's not good enough, nor am I saying he is good enough, but I think he's getting to that bracket of Colback, where Colback plays at his highest level every time, but he's not good enough to sustain it at the Premier League. I think Worrall has to play at 100% of the time during the match for 90 minutes. And be mistake-free to have a good game. Even in the West Ham game, I mentioned it last week, he was the mistake that was the build-up into the penalty incident for them and could have cost us another 2 points. Today, you could argue he has cost us 2 points because the mistakes have caught up. I'm trying to keep this as respectful as possible. In my opinion, right now, we don't have the option of dropping him because Niakata is going to be out for a couple of months. Had Niakata been fit, I would have liked to see Biancone get a run out to test him. Because as Steve Cooper says, next man up. And if you've had a couple of games where you've underperformed, then it is potentially time, because of the squad depth, to have a look and maybe let the next person in to see how they perform. It may help Joe Worrall to be taken out of the limelight for a game, reflect on what he's done. But I don't think we can afford to right now. Now, a lot of people are saying he's come up against the harder player every time in the team we're playing. So people were saying in the first game, it was ASM for Newcastle. In the second game, Ben Rahma was playing the best on the Newcastle pitch compared to Bowen. And in here, Gray was better than Gordon. Gordon was better than Gray, whichever way they were playing down their left channel. In my opinion, you can't say that because we got Spurs next, and who's their left winger? It's Son. Now, are we going to say that, oh, Son isn't as good as Kulusevski, that's why McKenna's looking slightly better than Worrall? No. Son is going to cause him major problems. He's probably going to fare maybe slightly better against Son, who isn't lightning fast, but he's pretty quick, faster than Worrall. And that's the other point that needs to be raised, is Worrall's lack of pace. Whereas if you're a defender with decent pace and you make a mistake, you have the ability to recover using your pace to at least disguise some of the mistake and recover and get away with it. Where he hasn't got pace and where his turning circle isn't exactly on a sixpence, his recovery into the challenge can cause him some issues as well. So I don't buy this conversation of, oh, such and such left side better than the other. You could argue this, well, you should argue this is the Premier League. Left side, right side of attack, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're all going to be pretty decent standard. This isn't the Championship where he has made mistakes before, but we've been able to get away with it. In the Premier League, if you miss or make a mistake, the likelihood is you are going to get punished. So, do you drop him? I'd like you guys to answer that question, but please answer it respectfully. Understand he is our captain as well. No player is beyond being dropped or moved onto the subs bench, but be respectful in your answer. Hopefully you guys will say that I've been respectful in my analysis. Obviously, during the game, passions fly, emotions run high, and you'll say things that you don't quite mean, etc. But when you sit back and analyze it, you got to do it with a level head when you look back at the game. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you wouldn't mind, as I said at the start of the video, give the video a quick like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We'll be back with a transfer update hopefully later on today, as well as a full in-depth analysis of the whole Forest versus Everton game. I'll bring on some heat maps for you, etc. Obviously, I'm just a bit slowed down at the moment with my arm. Finally, from me, if you would like your Brennan Johnson t-shirt, In Cooper We Trust t-shirt, all the other merch, please check out our store. And I want to shout out to Nomad, who has joined the membership and he has become a Super Red. So he'll get all the emojis and emotes that we offer the members. It's only 99p. The link is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope this has helped you in some way or the other. But please get your comments down below and I'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.